Yeah, you can be the great.
This is Faizan, and today I'll be talking about the new Picke'm challenge of ESL One Cologne's 2015 CS:GO tournament. Now, as you guys would know that this tournament has two separate Picke'm challenge. One is the team Picke'm challenge, and the other one is player Picke'm challenge. I'll be talking about my choices for both of them, and I'll explain why I chose what I did. So we'll start off with the team Picke'm challenge. Here you can see that for group A, first of all, in team Picke'm challenge you have to choose team, and in player Picke'm challenge you have to choose each player, and there are different criteria for each day. For example, on first day you have to choose the player that you think in a group will have the highest headshot percentage. For the second day you have to choose the player that you think will have most first kills. For the quarterfinal, semi-final and final, that's how it moves on. And for the teams, it is much more simpler. You just have to pick the team that you think is going to win throughout the group stage, day 2, quarterfinals, semi-final and finals. Now, talking about group stage or day 1, let's see, starting with group A. You can see that I have chosen TSM over, someone would argue, NIP. So my reasoning behind selecting TSM was that Ninjas in Pajamas have their first match against CLG, and TSM has their first match against Renegades. Now I definitely think that TSM is going to win against Renegades and will be progressed as a winner out of this matchup. Now for the match of NIP versus CLG, it can go either way because I guess that CLG is, I know that CLG is not like the top team in the world, but CLG is kind of the team that can really upset NIP in the first matchup because first of all it's a best of one, so they are super hard to predict, and CLG can really win. I feel that they can win like 16-14 or at a really close score line, and so I've chosen TSM. Another thing, let's say that NIP won against CLG, and then the next matchup would be NIP versus TSM. In that, still I think that TSM has the edge. TSM got the form right now. I'm not saying NIP doesn't. NIP is my favorite team, and I think that I wish that they win the whole tournament. But as far as this challenge goes, I am selecting TSM over NIP. Talking about Group B, as you can see, I've chosen Envious in the Group B. Now, as far as this Group B goes, I think it's pretty easy, or the easiest group out of all. Because as you can see, Group B has Envious, LG Luminosity Gaming, Kingwin, and Flipside Tactics. After this, I definitely think that out of first match, that is Envious versus Flipside, Envious are definitely going to win. I know that Flipside has good players like Margalov, they are a good team, but I don't see them winning against really good Envious, especially with the form that Envious is carrying right now. And I've seen their recent matches, so I'm pretty much confident Envious being the winner of that match. Now the second match is LG versus Kingwin. This is an interesting one because I really think that it's a coin flip because both the teams are good and they both are kind of aim heavy team, if I would say, and they might not have the extremely uh, rehearsed strategies, but they can own any team as far as the aim goes. So I think out of these two teams, any team can win. But let's say if Kingwin won against Luminosity Gaming, then the second match would be NVS versus Kingwin. Still, I don't see Kingwin winning out of this matchup against NVS, so I think that NVS will triumph in this group. So I've chosen NVS. Talking about Group C, one of the hardest group out of all four groups because it has teams like Fnatic, Navi, and Titan. Now the first match is again Fnatic versus eBeetle. In that I definitely think that Fnatic is going to win. So right now Navi versus Titan, I think that again it's a coin flip. It can go either way. I mean, Navi, it's a strat heavy team, they play slow and they really kind of get into their opponent's mind. And Titan have players like Shocks, a great leader like existence, and I really think that this matchup would be interesting, and it's hard to predict a winner. So I've chosen Fnatic because I think that they'll definitely win against Evil, and whoever wins in this matchup, let's say Titan won against Navi, then Fnatic stands a good chance to win against Titan. So I think that Fnatic is, the favorable choice for Group C. And last, Group D. So Group D features VP Mousesports, C9 and Immunity. Talking about the first match is VP versus Immunity. Definitely VP winning that one. And the second match being the most interesting match out of all four groups, Mousesports versus Cloud9. Now, I've seen recent Mousesports versus Cloud9 matches, and I really think that this match it cannot be predicted because Mousesports can beat Cloud9, Cloud9 can beat Mousesports, and if there's a bet going on launch of Mousesports versus Cloud9, I would heavily suggest to avoid that bet because any team out of these two can win, and it's hard to predict. So let's say Mousesports will win against Cloud9, so the next matchup will be VP versus Mousesports. In that, again, Mousesports can win over VP. However, I've just chosen VP as my preference. Call me a VP fanboy, but I think that VP will triumph out of this group as first seed. However, I think Cloud9 and Mousesports are an equal contender to this spot where I've chosen VP. Alrighty, moving on to the player pick'em challenge. Now for all the groups, I think the most easiest choice or easiest group is the group B, where you have Scream. I mean, come on, if you have Scream in a group and you are choosing for headshot percentage, just don't argue with me in this choice. Just choose Scream because he has like what 70%. Uh, his whole entire career headshot ratio is 70%, so he can easily beat any player in this group. So I've chosen Scream. Now, talking about Group A, you can see that I've chosen AZR from Team Renegades. Now, most people would argue that why I didn't choose Forest of NIP or Dupree from TSM. Now, my logic behind choosing AZR from Renegades on for this Group A pick is I really think that uh, Forest will Forest is a kind of player that if he's on 100% form, Nip is unbeatable and he will win round single-handedly. But still, seeing Nip's current form, I think that Forest will not be as active as he would be at the later stages of the game. So this is the first match. This is day one. So on day one, I really think that Forrest will be still warming up, or he'll be still getting into his game. And I've seen AZR's headshot percentage ratio on HLTV, and it's like 55%, 50%, and I still believe that he can triumph as far as the headshot percentage ratio goes over Dupree or Forest. Dupree is also good contender for this spot. Now all the players spot are, except for Scream, all the other player spots are kind of preference. You choose the player that you prefer, or you choose the player that you think is going to win, will have the highest percentage ratio, will have most first kills. So we talked about Scream Group B, we talked about AZR Group A. Now let's move on to Group C. Now you can see that I've chosen Shocks in this one. Now some people would argue that you can choose Flamey and Edward from Navi, because I saw on HLTV that they have very good headshot percentage in their career and in the majors as well. But I've chosen Shocks because I really believe in him, and I think that he's one of the best players in the world, and he has very high headshot percentage ratio. So I still believe that he will triumph out of all these players and all these teams as the top headshot percentage player. Talking about Group D, again you can see that, as I said, all these choices are preference. Talking about Group D, I've chosen nothing over all the other players. Now you can argue that I might have chosen VP Bialy, VP Neo, or Mouse Sports next. I really think that Mouse Sports next can be the player with the highest headshot percentage out of all, because he's playing some sick game recently, and he's been having very good aim duels and very good headshot percentage recently. So I think next can be a contender for this spot, but I've chosen nothing because again, as I said, preference, and I prefer nothing. And also I've been seeing nothing from 1.6 days, and I believe in him, and I think that he will triumph out of all these players and all these teams. So for day one, ACR, Scream, Shocks, and nothing. So that's it for day one. For day two predictions of teams and players, I'll try and make another video. But that's it for this video. Thank you.